The information contained herein is provided for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. The content of this show contains general information and may not reflect current legal developments, verdicts, or settlements. Any information contained in this show is not intended to be a substitute for legal counsel.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Family Man. This is your host, Grant Gisondo. I'm a licensed South Florida attorney here, also the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We offer a free consultation for any family law matter. Give us a call today, 561-530-4568. Check us out online at sunshinedivorce.com. If you'd like to drop me an email directly, you can email me at grant@sunshinedivorce.com. Or if you need immediate assistance, feel free to call my cell phone directly at 561-307-4005. My only request is please don't text me because text messages drive me crazy. If you heard last week's show, we spoke a little bit about making the most of your free consultation when you do come in to see me. Things along the lines of making a list of questions that you have for your attorney, hiring the right attorney, making sure that you actually are hiring an attorney that practices the law that you are seeking. For example, if you got hurt in a car accident, please don't call a family law attorney. But if you're getting a divorce, you're going through a child custody matter, you're going through a child support matter, then you want to talk to a family law attorney, which we are. You also want to make sure that your attorney is somewhat local to the area where you live or where the case is currently. For example, if you have a case down in Miami and you live in West Palm Beach, I'd be the perfect attorney for you because my office is in Palm Beach Gardens. Through our process, you're going to be coming in to see me several times and you're going to want to meet with me. Our communications, our meetings, and our reviewing of documents is essential to making this process work. So make sure that your attorney is in the general area of where you live. Again, if you want to give me a call for your free consultation, 561-530-4568. Most of the time we can get you in for the same day. Today we're going to talk a little bit about parental alienation, which is a very large topic, currently a hot topic in Palm Beach County. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about discovery. What is discovery? How does it work? How is it useful for your case? And then we're going to get to a whole bunch of questions that you guys emailed in. If you have a question or there's a topic that you would like to hear me cover, shoot me an email at grant@sunshinedivorce or give me a call at 561-530-4568. So to make things simple, let's talk a little bit about discovery today. What is discovery and how is it useful in a family law case? So if you're getting divorced, or you're calculating child support, or you're modifying child support, or basically, I would say 99% of the cases that we do in family law require you to file something called mandatory disclosure. This is actually Rule 12.285, which you don't need to know, but I'm letting you know that I know what the rule is in case you want to test my knowledge one day. Again, called mandatory disclosure. Why do they call it mandatory disclosure? Well, there's no secrets here, folks. It is mandatory to do. Yes, you can waive it, although I never want people to waive it because you're putting yourself in a difficult situation if it's waived. So what is mandatory disclosure? Mandatory disclosure is basically the minimum requirements of financial documents that you need to give to the other side in order to get divorced, to calculate child support, to come up with timesharing plans, and basically be in the family law field. So what does mandatory disclosure actually consist of? Well, it consists of the filling out and filing of a financial affidavit, which is basically a big long list of your income, your debts, your assets, your liabilities. At the end of the day, you're going to get your net worth. Don't worry, if you have a negative net worth, it's not going to affect your ability to be a father or see your kids, pay or receive child support. That's really not what it's used for. It's just part of the disclosure, open and honest policy. Aside from a financial affidavit, you're also going to be required to produce some of your pay stubs, if you have any, or some type of a statement about income, if you have any. You're going to have to give over your bank accounts, usually about the last 3 months of your checking, savings, or any financial accounts that you have. Same with your credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, everything. You're going to want to give everything over as part of this process. If you have any trusts or if you have any wills, all that is discoverable that you're going to need to swap to the other side. Now, everyone asks me, why do I have to do this? Why does the state of Florida care if I give over mandatory disclosure? Well, the reason for that is simple, is that you have to tell the person on the other side of the case what you're worth, what you have. So you're basically making an arm's length transaction. You have to make an informed decision about settling your case. You have to make an informed decision about going to trial on your case. And with the help of an experienced family law attorney, we can basically come up with a financial roadmap for you on how to do this. So that's mandatory disclosure. That's what I like to call level 1 discovery. Okay, level 2 discovery is just taking it up a little bit of a notch. And there's 2 documents that we could file in this situation. 1 is a request for production of documents. 2 are interrogatories. Well, what's a request for production of documents? A request for production is basically taking your mandatory disclosure and adding more of it. So for example, if you have to give over 3 months of your pay stubs in mandatory disclosure in a request for production, we might ask for 3 years of pay stubs. We might ask for 3 years of bank statements. We might ask for 3 years of tax returns or up to 5 years of tax returns, depending on how relevant that they are. And by the way, in mandatory disclosure, you're also going to be giving away your tax returns. And by the way, one thing I should touch on is a lot of people say is, well, I don't have these documents. Well, you can get them, or I can get them for you. Through the subpoena power of the court, I can issue a subpoena to your CPA or to your bank, and they will actually produce to me all the financial documents that I need to do your case, just in case you're either too busy or you feel like you can't get them. So back to the request for production. So again, it's just a uptick. It's basically mandatory disclosure kind of on steroids. It's brought up a little bit. It's a little more thorough. It's definitely a little bit longer. Other things that I'm looking for in a request for production, especially with 5 years of taxes. If you're self-employed, maybe last year you had a terrible year, but maybe 2 years ago you haven't had a phenomenal year. So this gives me the ability to basically average a party's income. And when we're talking about the calculation of child support, which is heavily dependent upon the party's income as well as the amount of overnights with the child, we don't necessarily want to use the worst year that the person's had in the past 5 years. If, for example, 1 year they made $50,000 and 3 years ago they made $300,000, well, I'd at least argue that we should average that out to get a little bit more of a reasonable number of child support. So that's something that we regularly do. Again, this is something we can guide you through, and we always have a meeting to see what we really need in these requests for productions. I'm not the type of attorney that likes to just file, endless documents when they're really not necessary. I use them as a tool to get information that I need, but I also use them as a tool to give us evidence that we might need through the course of a case. That way we're not just wasting time, we're not wasting money just doing a needless presentation of evidence and gathering of documents. We try to really keep everything relevant to your specific case. So the other discovery request that I mentioned that's kind of parallel to requests for production are something called interrogatories. Now, these are standard questions that the state comes up with that you could file about 30 of them under the statute, but if you need to file more, you can do so with court permission. And these are a series of questions that you're asking to the other party that they're going to be actually literally writing or typing answers to, signing, notarizing, and sending back to the party that requested them. Now, what kind of questions are they asked? Well, for example, what's your position in this case? A lot of times people aren't very forthcoming with what exactly they want. These are asking for what exactly do you want? Where have you worked? What level of education do you have? What schools have you gone to? It serves 2 purposes. One, I think it keeps people honest. There's no surprises at trial when you file these things, because once it's kind of written down, they're kind of stuck to those answers. Can they be amended? Yes, they can be amended. Is it something that's regularly done? Yeah, but not too often. Again, this is something that you want to be filling out with your family law attorney to make sure that you're putting together correct information, you're putting together accurate information, and it also has to be a level of consistency. So, for example, if your interrogatory says, how much money did you make in 2015? And the person lists $30,000. But then in the request for production, they give me a tax return that says they made $125,000. Well, we have a problem here. Either the taxes are wrong, the interrogatories were wrong, or simply the person was lying to you. Lying is not something you ever want to do on these documents. You don't want to ever conceal what you have. You also don't ever want to lie. Because remember, if you're lying on these documents that you're signing and you're getting notarized, you're signing that under penalty of perjury. The last thing you want to do is go into court and kind of proven to be a liar. The judge is going to look extremely disfavorably on that position. You want to be honest. Honesty is really important. And in a lot of these instances, we're talking about, well, it's in the children's best interest that they spend a lot of time with me because I'm a wonderful person and I'm a great parent. Well, if you just lied on official documents, it kind of makes it difficult to say that you're a wonderful person and that you're a wonderful parent, because we've just essentially proved that you're a liar. So request for production, interrogatories, both extremely powerful, useful tools that we file. We don't file them in every case. Everybody thinks that it's going to be done ultimately in every single case, and they're not. It's really done in instances where they're going to be useful. Otherwise, we're just wasting money. And I don't like to waste money. I don't like to waste time. I like to streamline these cases. I like to try to get them done as efficiently as possible. If you have more questions about a request for production or interrogatories, give me a call. It's free to talk to me. You can come in for a free consultation, 561-530-4568 to make that appointment. But there's one more discovery tool that I want to talk to you about here, and this is, in my opinion, the most powerful, and those would be depositions. Now, what's a deposition? It's basically an attorney asking a party a series of questions under oath in the presence of a court reporter. Now, what is a court reporter doing? They're basically sitting there and they're typing all of the questions and they're typing all of your answers. You do take an affirmation and you're under oath, so everything that you're saying is under oath, so you want to make sure you're not lying in these things either. And when are these useful? These can be useful in every case. They're usually most useful right when you're getting ready for trial, or you're getting ready for a mediation, or you're getting ready for some type of an evidentiary hearing. Why? Because anything you say in a deposition can be used either for you or against you in the courtroom. So, for example, if I ask you on the stand in the courtroom, tell the court the amount of money that you made in 2015, and you tell me $100,000. And in your deposition 3 weeks ago, I asked you, what's the amount of money that you made in that year? And you told me that you made $25,000. Well, we have inconsistent statements. And when we have inconsistent statements, I actually have the ability to read the deposition and ask you the oh so dreaded question. Well, are you lying to me now in court, or did you lie to me under oath under a deposition? Now think about that for a second. How would you answer that in front of a judge? You've given two different answers. You're under oath for both of them. And I'm now asking you, did you lie to me in your deposition, or are you lying to me today? It's a very, very difficult question to answer, all which can be avoided by doing the ultimate defense to everything, which is just saying the truth. Don't lie. Again, the big gist here, don't lie, because we're going to find out, and we do find out in every single instance. Believe it or not, in family law, much like in other cases, people are dishonest, and I don't know why. It hurts them more than anything in the world. Coming to the court honestly is probably the best thing you can do for yourself. It's the best thing you can do for the court. It's the best thing you can do for your kids, and it also streamlines the process. You don't really want to be going down rabbit holes to prove somebody is lying because it doesn't do anybody a service. So that's how a deposition can be useful. Now, what can you ask in a deposition? Pretty much anything that's relevant. If you're a husband and you have a girlfriend, let's say, on the side, and we know about it, and believe me, we always know about it, and we always find out about it. I'm going to ask you, what's her name? Where does she live? What's her relationship? What's her phone number? And once you give me all that information, I actually can go take her deposition. Let's say that you are you're working for a personal service, or you're a waiter or a waitress, and someone gave you a $300 tip. Well, I'm going to ask you who that person was. And if they're a friend of yours, I'm going to go take their deposition. So you want to make sure that the information is forthcoming, but it really can lead to even more discovery. So depositions could be very, very useful. And I can't even tell you how many times I've said to somebody, so what's your girlfriend's name? What's your boyfriend's name? What's their phone number? What's their address? And I'm writing the subpoena in a deposition while I'm speaking to them. And all of a sudden that person is ready to settle the case. So you've avoided a trial. We've backed them into a corner. We got them to a settlement, and we're done. A lot of these cases do settle at depositions because, remember, I'm there as your attorney. The opposing attorney is there with their client, the person I'm questioning, and a court reporter's there. So you put everybody in the same room, and all of a sudden we can talk about settlements. We can try to get your case settled. And then if everything's done and you guys agree, so you don't have to sit there for 3 or 4 hours while I write your settlement agreement, we can orally tell it to the court reporter. Remember, you're under oath. You can say, I agree. My client can say, I agree. And all of a sudden we have a settlement. Now all we have to do is have it typed up and we're done. So that's another wonderful tool that's available to you. If you're just tuning in, this is Grant Gisondo Gisondo, the family man. I'm the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Call me today for your free in-person consultation for any family law matter, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. If you want to email me directly, go ahead, feel free. It's Grant, Grant, at sunshinedivorce.com. We will be right back.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Without the proper training, diffusing a highly volatile bomb is not something you want to try by yourself. When a marriage is about to explode, the same wisdom applies. Hire a professional or pay the consequence.
Headed for divorce? Diffuse the matter with the guidance of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. Online at sunshinedivorce.com. That's sunshinedivorce.com. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Grant Gisondo, the family man. I'm the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Call us today for your free in-person consultation. Again, that is a free in-person consultation for any family law matter, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. If you have any questions for me, you'd like to ask some question that you'd like read on the show, or you just have a question that you don't want read on the show, or have an idea about an upcoming show, feel free to shoot me an email, Grant, Grant, at sunshinedivorce.com. We spoke at the beginning of the show a little bit about different discovery tools that some of you were asking about. We spoke about mandatory disclosure, the mandatory minimum requirements that you need to have a family law case in Florida. We spoke about a request for production, which is basically mandatory disclosure, slightly souped up a little bit. It's kind of mandatory disclosure on steroids, along with ROGs, or interrogatories, which are a series of questions that you get to ask the other party that they're giving you a written response about. We spoke about depositions, the usefulness of the depositions and the way they work. We're going to do a show all about depositions, on how to answer questions, how to give them, how to take them, what they're all about. We'll get a little bit more in depth there, but I sometimes say the word deposition, so I wanted to make sure that you guys had some idea of what I was talking about, and also the power of subpoenas, how I can subpoena records in order to get them. And of course, we spoke about the usefulness of all this in your case, and how experienced family law attorneys such as myself use these tools to help you through your case. So as promised, today we're going to be talking about something that I'm extremely passionate about. I can't say that it's one of my favorite topics because I consider it to be a very sad topic, but we're going to talk about parental alienation. This is a hot topic for everybody right now. It's also really common. And what you kind of need to understand, the most important thing is parental alienation is a form of abuse. It is absolutely abusive, not only to the child, but it's also abusive to the other parent. And this is something that can only be done by the parents. This isn't something that a third party can do. A third party can do this, but it really doesn't fall into the realm of parental alienation. It's actually a different form of abuse. So what is it? What is the actual definition of parental alienation? Well, it is the psychological manipulation of a child into showing unwarranted fear, disrespect, or hostility towards a parent. Now, this is a form of mental abuse. This is a form of psychological abuse towards both the child as well as the rejected parent. This is one of the most harmful things that you can do to a child. It's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely on the uprise. It's on the uptick. I'm seeing more and more cases where this is a problem than I've ever seen in my entire career. I don't know why. I've reached out to different psychologists and social worker friends of mine about why they might be seeing this. There's being a lot of studies done, but this is a form of abuse that needs to be addressed. And, everybody thinks of abuse of, you're actually putting your hand on your child. And yes, that is a form of abuse. Yes, it's absolutely terrible. It's not something I support in any way. But today we're talking about psychological abuse. And psychological abuse is just as harmful as physical abuse to a child. So what's so big about this? Well, number one, it's a big deal to the court. When determining custody or time sharing with a child, parental alienation is actually a factor. It's something that the court considers. Is it a super factor? No. If you remember that show that we did with Magistrate Baker, there are no super factors here, but this is important. Why is it so important? Because it's abuse. So this psychological abuse occurs exclusively usually within a divorce where legal action is involved. So this is a type of situation where you almost kind of need to be in a court case for this to occur. It doesn't only happen with divorces. I see it all the time with custody cases, with paternity cases, with maternity cases. I even see it with child support cases. So it's becoming more and more frequent, and I don't like it. So I'm educating you guys a little bit about what this is and why this is such a problem. So why does this happen? Why would a parent want to alienate their child from the other parent? Well, the reason is because that parent wants to exclude the other parent from the life of the child. Why? I don't know. They're selfish. They have a problem. There's an issue there. I don't know. But in a lot of times, the aggressor parent, the one that's actually committing the parental alienation, is going to undergo some type of a psychological evaluation to determine what exactly their issue is. So how does this harm the child, and what are the effects? Well, the effects for the child, we're talking about what this parent has done to their child here, is there are long-term permanent effects from one parent which leads to developmental, behavioral, cognitive, and physical symptoms. And we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about that. So the symptoms, what are we looking out for? What is the situation where a child may be a victim of parental alienation? So your children are, and this is kind of coming from some conversations that I've had with some psychologists, your children are basically wired to love you. Let's just call it that. Your children love you. From the day they're born, they love you. They love mom, they love dad, okay? But when you see a severe lack of attachment to one parent, well, that's a symptom of parental alienation. But is it enough on its own? No. The other thing that we see sometimes is the child believing that one parent is entirely good and the other parent is entirely bad. Meaning that, for example, if dad is committing parental alienation on a child, that child might learn to believe that there's nothing good about mom. Everything mom does is bad. Everything mom does is bad for the child. She's selfish, she's terrible, she's horrible. But then once this begins to occur for a series of time, the child actually begins having panic attacks. They begin having unreasonable fears of that parent. So for example, let's say mom says, hey, it's time to brush your teeth. The child could actually have a panic attack because that parent is saying something to that child and the child doesn't know what to do. They think they're in fear. They think they're in trouble. That fight or flight response kicks in and they're basically freaking out. So now you have a child having a complete panic attack, even being around that other parent. This is a huge problem. The other thing is that you see a lot of parental alienation. Obviously, parental alienation is the abusing word, but that child is actually alienated from that parent. The child also extremely resists being around that parent. They're very reluctant to be with that parent, and they also can exhibit hostility or fear to that parent. So when you see a child that absolutely hates one of their parents, mom or dad, and this happens both ways. Let me be really clear about that. Sometimes I might say mom or dad. Parental alienation happens both. Mom can commit this, dad can commit this. And this form of abuse usually leads to a lot of symptoms. So what actually happens? How does this dynamic work? And how does all this actually occur? So if you're just tuning in, everybody, this is Grant Gisondo, the Family Man. I'm the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We offer a free in-person consultation for any family law matter. 561-530-4568 or online at sunshinedivorce.com. We're talking about parental alienation. We've gotten through what parental alienation is. We've gone, why does this occur? What are the results of this? What are the symptoms of this? But now what actually happens here? So this can be done harshly. Harshly is obviously very easy to see. The parent is basically telling the child, the other parent is bad. Your father's bad. Your mother's bad. No, bad, bad, bad. Be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. But the subtlety when it happens is a little bit harder to recognize. It's a lot more gentle. So what this basically is communicating signals that the other parent is dangerous or insensitive. So saying something along the lines of, your father doesn't care about you. Your mother doesn't love you. Your father would rather make his car payment than pay for food for you. This is parental alienation, and this is a problem. It can be as simple as, let's say the parties are separated, they're no longer living together, and mom or dad calls, and the other parent holds out the phone and goes, your father's on the phone. That is a form of parental alienation. That's causing that parent in a negative light to the child. Why would you say that about the parent's child? Remember, the grown-ups, the parents, you guys are the ones that are having the legal issues. It's not your child that's having a legal issue. Your child should not be brought or stuck in the middle of this situation. Those little things, those little gestures, the rolling of your eyes when the other parent calls, these are all very subtle forms of parental alienation. So this improper encouragement manipulates the child into the role of a victim without the child's awareness, which allows the other parent to move into the protector role, which forces the other parent into the inadequate role. So what you're seeing here is actually a morphing of relationships and roles in the mother-father-child relationship. So you have one, and I'm going to say this again because that's a big definition and it can be a little confusing. So through improper encouragement like you don't need to talk to your father because he doesn't love you, or you don't need to call your mother because she doesn't love you. She would rather go out and party than spend time with you. I'm the one that's here with you. This is parental alienation. These are classic examples. So what that does is it puts the child as the victim. And how is the child the victim? Well, your child doesn't love you. I'm sorry, your parent doesn't love you. You're a victim. Your father would rather go out and party and have beers and play poker with his friends rather than be with you. That's putting you into a victim role. Okay, so then what happens is now the person saying that is what they're kind of saying and acting is that, but I'm here with you because I love you and I care about you. The other parent doesn't. So I'm now your protector. I'm now your best friend. And the other parent is basically inadequate. So why don't you, basically what you're telling the child is the other parent is inadequate. They don't need you. They don't love you. You're the victim and I'm everything to you. Latch on to me. Let me protect you. I won't let anything happen to you. It's kind of like that Superman role. I can fix anything. Don't worry. I got it. Guys, parental alienation, this is serious stuff. If you're doing this, stop. If you don't know you're doing this, stop. If you need help with this, call a psychologist. Call me and I will give you the phone number to psychologists that I use that specialize in this stuff. Seriously, call me today, 561-530-4568. All you have to say is I'm having a problem with parental alienation, and I'd like to get some info on a psychologist. My office will give you plenty of names, plenty of reading material that you can handle for this. Don't be that person. If you're the parent that's being alienated, call me. I'll help you. We can get you on the right track. It's going to cost you absolutely nothing for me to give you the information that you need to stop this from happening. So again, who's the victim in this situation? The child, the children. And believe it or not, sometimes when there's 2 to 4 children in a marriage or in these type of legal actions, sometimes one child is alienated and one child is not. So it's not something that has to be done across the board. It can be somewhat selective based on the child. So typically what you see is the alienator to mix in lies, partial lies, or exaggerations especially when the child can't verify any of the facts. So for example, if someone said, your mother would rather have the house painted, and this is kind of a ridiculous example, but it'll drive it home for you. If your mother would rather have the house painted than buy you a birthday present, is that true? I don't know. Maybe I don't think so. I don't think that would be true. It would be extremely selfish if it was, but I don't think it's true. But there's no way for the child to actually verify those facts. I don't think mom is going to say, yes, I would rather have the house painted than buy you a birthday present. I don't think mom would do that. I don't think anybody would actually say that. But there's no way for the child to know that. Most of all, it's probably not true. It's probably a lie or a partial lie. Partial lie meaning, does mom want to have the house painted? Yes, she does. But would she rather have the house painted than buy you a birthday present? Probably not. So that's a partial lie. That's what we're talking about in this situation. Okay, so interesting stuff here. So now we've understood what parental alienation is. We've gone through why this occurs. We've gone through the results of how this happens, the symptoms of what to watch out for, the actual dynamic. And remember, that dynamic is the changing of roles, the victim, the aggressor, the protector role, the inadequate role. That's what we were talking about there. The way that the alienators sometimes mix in lies. They sometimes mix in partial lies. So then what do you do? I've all told you can call me. We can get you on the right track. But what type of treatment? Now, I'm not a mental health professional. Understand that. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a social worker. I'm none of that stuff. I am a family law attorney. But this is something that we deal with on a regular basis. So we're going to talk a little bit about treatments of parental alienation and what is available to you. So if you're just tuning in, this is Grant Gisondo. I'm the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We offer a free in-person consultation regarding any family law matter, 561-530-4568, or online at Sunshine Divorce. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about some of these treatments. See you in a minute.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Without the proper training, diffusing a highly volatile bomb is not something you want to try by yourself. When a marriage is about to explode, the same wisdom applies. Hire a professional or pay the consequence.
Headed for divorce? Diffuse the matter with the guidance of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. Online at sunshinedivorce.com. That's sunshinedivorce.com. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Grant Gisondo, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, offering a free in-person consultation for any family law matter, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. Talking about parental alienation today. As promised, we are getting into the treatment segment of the show. What do you do if your child has been alienated from the other parent? What type of treatment is available? So again, I got to just reinforce, you need a therapist, you need a psychologist, you need a professional to do this. This is not something I can do. I am nowhere near qualified to treat your child for alienation purposes. But there are some things that the court can do. And one of the things that the court can do is order reunification therapy. And that's really where the alienated parent and the child go to therapy and work with a psychologist to try to come back to a unification standpoint. Now, remember, we want the child-parent relationship to be excellent. We want it to be very good. And through reunification therapy, we can achieve this goal. We can actually reunite the child with the parent and show that, look, although this was a form of abuse, and of course we would never tell that to the child, but although this is a form of abuse, there is hope in the future. So if you've been alienated from your child, don't give up. Don't ever give up. So reunification is an order. You can also have cognitive and behavioral therapy, again, with a professional, to really work with the way the child is thinking, the way the child is behaving, little things that the alienated parent could be doing, and exercises that the two could be doing together in order to achieve reunification and to show that the alienation is basically over. The other thing that the court can do is they can temporarily protect the child. Now, how does that work? Well, by temporarily protecting the child, you can actually remove the alienator from the situation by giving the other parent temporary custody or temporary complete timesharing, almost like sole time sharing. Now, this would be a somewhat of a severe situation. This isn't something that happens every day, but it does happen. So basically, by removing the abusing parent from the situation, it's only the alienated parent and the child in the situation. And over time, the child will actually realize, learn, and forget the situation, understand that the alienated parent really isn't, someone that they need to be protected from, that the child was a victim, and they can really work on their relationship together. Very important. The other thing you could do is that needs to be done is the child's place in the family needs to be somewhat reset. And again, done by a mental health professional, not something attorneys can do. But the way this works is that by resetting the child's place is that you reestablish that mother-father-child relationship. Now, when I say that, it's not a strict relationship where, the parents need to be the boss and the child needs to follow suit. No, it's really just understanding that it's a loving environment, that they're there to protect you, they're there to care for you, they're there to help you, they're not there to hurt you, that although one parent has been alienated, that alienated parent really does love you. They would never choose anything over you, and it just reinforces and reestablishes that relationship. If the child is age appropriate, they can also develop critical thinking for the child, so the child can actually be less impressionable, where they can actually make their own decisions. If a parent is alienating the other parent, The child actually has the cognitive or the thinking ability to say, I don't think that's true, and I'm just not going to believe that, and I'm going to let that go. That would be critical thinking to see if any of this is actually true. Most important, the ultimate goal in this situation is to protect the child from the harmful parent, and there's many different ways that can be done. We went through a bunch of them. There are other ways. There are many other ways that this can be done. So if you're just tuning in, this is Grant Gisondo, the Family Man. We're talking about parental alienation today. If you have any questions about parental alienation, or you have any questions about anything in the family law field, feel free to give me a call, 561-530-4568. You could shoot me an email at Grant, Grant, at sunshinedivorce.com. A couple of things with parental alienation that the child is very susceptible to. Sometimes this occurs when the alienation is at a low threshold, and also when the child is at a very high threshold. The child can actually have delayed reaching of milestones. For example, potty training. For example, learning your alphabet, learning numbers, learning your colors. These are all milestones in a child's upbringing, and those can be delayed in the event of parental alienation because it is a form of abuse. It is psychological abuse, and it does affect the way a child thinks. It also can really mess up a child's schedule. For example, if they're used to their father reading them a story before bed, they don't want to do that anymore. So it can be extremely disruptive in the schedules. The child can also feel, a lot of anxiety, can start to have panic attacks. If it gets to the point where medication is required, it's really sad. It's tried to be avoided all things, but the child can also develop depression. And also the child in extreme events can actually fabricate events or distorted complaints. So in one case that I worked on several years ago, the child actually began having manifestations of abuse against the alienated parent that didn't occur. Now, how do we know it didn't occur? Well, because when the child said they occurred, they were actually being recorded. Long story short here, there was actually a camera set up in the home, and the child was, saying that certain things were occurring, and it was extremely clear to the court that they weren't actually occurring. Now, does that mean that you should never believe a child when they say things? No, absolutely not. Always believe your child, always stick up for your child, and always fight for your child. However, when you see severe alienation, these are some of the things that pop up, and they are extremely sad. Remember, it is a form of abuse, and it's something that needs to stop. This is a hot topic. I'm seeing more and more of it regularly, as well as some of my coworkers, as well as some of other attorneys in the community are seeing more and more of this. It can be as simple as bad mouthing. It can be as severe as actual psychological manipulation. Remember, children are very subject to manipulation. Their way of thinking can be changed very easily. Children, they're kind of like sponges. Everything you tell them, they're learning, they're absorbing, they're soaking in. And, you certainly don't want to be doing this. It's really terrible. You can do a lot of damage to a child. So this form of abuse needs to stop. If you feel like you are unknowingly alienating the other parent from your child, or you feel like you've been alienated from your child, call me. We can help you legally. We can also refer you to different mental health professionals, psychologists, professionals that specialize in this type of stuff. We can get you reunification therapy. We can talk about temporarily placing the child in your care. It's all about protecting the child, but there's a lot of avenues available to you. So if you need to contact me, 561-530-4568, and we can help you through this difficult time. So that is it when it comes to parental alienation. We now get to my favorite time of the show, which is reading some of your questions. Your questions are getting more and more difficult, which means that you're really following along everything that I'm saying, because some of these questions, they're tough. They're not easy. But don't worry, I got answers for you. If you're just tuning in, this is Grant Gisondo, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We offer a free in-person consultation for any family law case. Again, that is a free consultation for any family law case. Call me at 561-530-4568 or online at sunshinedivorce.com. We spoke a little bit about parental alienation today. We spoke a little bit about discovery. We're now getting to your frequently asked questions. If you would like to ask a question that you want read on the show, or you have a question about anything that I've said today, shoot me an email, Grant, Grant, at sunshinedivorce.com, or call me at 561-530-4568. We'll be back in just a moment with your questions.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Without the proper training, diffusing a highly volatile bomb is not something you want to try by yourself. When a marriage is about to explode, the same wisdom applies. Hire a professional or pay the consequence.
Headed for divorce? Diffuse the matter with the guidance of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. Online at sunshindivor.com. That's sunshindivor.com. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Grant Gisondo, the family man, the owner of the law offices of Grant Gisondo, PA, a full-service family law firm in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We offer a free in-person consultation for any family law matter, 561-530-4568, or online at sunshinedivorce.com. If you'd like to email me directly any questions about the show, questions you'd like answered on the show, just shoot me an email, Grant, Grant, at sunshinedivorce.com. Okay, so now my favorite segment, your questions. I get to read them live on the air. This is fun. So, Thomas in West Palm Beach. Hello, Thomas. You asked, Mr. Gisondo, what is your success rate at trial? Thomas, that is a really hard question to answer. That's hard because success rate is based on your objectives. If I meet all of your objectives, I consider this to be a very successful trial. I can tell you that in general, we are very successful at what we do. If we go to trial, we have a very high success rate. What matters most to our clients, we achieve, and we meet your objectives, and that's what's really important. I don't take junk to trial. I can tell you that. If there's no legal reasonableness to bringing it to trial, I won't. I'd rather you save your money. So next question, Cheryl in Lake Worth. Do you offer any flat fee options for simple cases? Yes, Cheryl, I actually do. For simplified dissolution cases, for simplified custody timesharing cases, I actually do offer some flat fee options. It depends on the case. So Cheryl, give me a call, 561-530-4568, and we can talk about some flat fee options. Not everything that we do is just hourly, billing hours. Sometimes we just provide a service. If you basically are in agreement with everything and you just need a settlement agreement written and you need someone to go in front of the judge with you to get you divorced, this is something that we could do for you. So no problem. Absolutely, Cheryl, without a doubt. So Eric spelled with a K, Eric in Wellington, do you only handle divorce? The answer to that is no. Now, Eric, I know I've said this a few times, and I hope you're listening to all my past shows. And by the way, everybody, since we're talking about past shows, all of my past shows, if you'd like to listen to them, they are available on my website, sunshinedivorce.com. They're also available on YouTube, where there's a couple pictures. You can actually see what I actually look like, as well as Amy Mitchell, who's one of my paralegals. She's up on there, as well as Nilda Maldonado, who's one of our legal assistants. She's up on there as well. But Eric with a K, to answer your question, no, we don't only handle divorce. We also handle paternity, we handle father's rights, we handle mother's rights, we handle child support, timesharing. We basically handle anything family law related, including domestic violence. And that means seeking an injunction against domestic violence or defending an action against domestic violence. So, Eric, good question. Thank you very much. Holly from North Palm Beach. Holly, the father of my son. I'm sorry, I read that completely wrong. The father of my 3 kids stopped sending me child support. I really need the money. Can I get him to pay my attorney's fees? So, Holly, this is a good question. A lot of times this happens. You're not getting your child support. You don't have the money to hire an attorney. What do? Holly, I can help you. Call me, 561-530-4568. I might be able to get him to pay your attorney's fees if he willfully stopped paying you child support. One of the things that we can ask for when enforcing a child support order are attorney's fees. So yes, there's a chance that he will have to pay your attorney's fees. Is it guaranteed? No. But does it occur? Yes. Yes, it does. And it happens very regularly. So give me a call. Ken in Boca says, I've been married for 22 years. My wife moved with my kids out of state. What should I do? Ken, this is a number one priority. Call me. I will meet with you today. 561-530-4568. we need to bring your kids back immediately. You cannot relocate out of state without the other parent's consent. This is a case that needs to be reviewed for parental kidnapping. This is something that I would file an emergency motion about. This is handled, number one, highest priority to make sure your kids are back here in the state. If you don't know where they are, it becomes even more of a priority. So this is something that we handle absolutely immediately. Ken, call me very, very, very important. Jonah in Palm Beach asks, in a divorce, are my airlines miles marital? I'm going to assume that you mean a marital asset. Yes, your airline miles, if they've been accumulated during the marriage, are considered a marital asset. They're subject to equitable distribution, and they can be divided. Now, don't forget that equitable distribution, just airline miles, you're talking about just one asset. And equitable distribution is a big picture. So there's a lot of other things that we need to be looking at as well. But as a general rule, airline miles that have been accumulated during the marriage are subject to equitable distribution, especially if they have a cash value. So Roger in Parkland asks, in your investigations into a client's former partner, how often do you find something really incriminating that helps your case? Interesting. So yes, we do work with private investigators to try to find some information that can help us get through a case. I would say about 75% of the time we find something that maybe not incriminating. When you say incriminating, nothing that's illegal, but things that can be very incriminating in a family law case, such as a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a spouse, or the person has a gambling problem, a drug problem, an alcohol problem, or somebody that, is telling their wife, hey, I'm not drinking anymore. I haven't had a drink in 10 years. And all of a sudden they are drinking again. They're hanging out at casinos. So it does happen. I'd say about 75% of the time. What I tell people as a general rule, if you think your spouse is cheating on you and you really have a reasonable belief, chances are they are. If you really believe that your, spouse has a drinking problem, chances are they do. If you feel that your spouse has a drug problem, chances are that they do. Remember that, you're in the best position to tell me what's happening as the dynamic of the marriage. No one knows your partner better than you do. And if you think you have that reasonable gut feeling that something is going on, it would be a very smart decision to hire me and then let me hook you up with a private investigator that we can actually look into this. Because more times than not, it is true. It's a very small percentage when, we did an investigation and found nothing. In which case it happens, but it's pretty rare. So Alex from North Palm Beach, here's a little bit of a long question. What would be the procedure in a situation where you are getting divorced and one of your children has earned a significant amount of money? Do you have any ties to that money? And what can you do to prevent your former spouse from taking advantage? Interesting question. So if your child's a minor, it's their money. If your child's an adult, it's their money. It's not subject to equitable distribution. Remember, they're not party to the divorce. It's their money. But if your spouse is taking that money, using it, or they're misappropriating it and they're not properly saving it for the child, you can actually seek an order from the court making them put the money back, reimburse it, or give it back to the child. So remember, what your child earns is your child. That's their money. That's not your money. Don't take money from your child. That's like taking candy from a baby. Don't do that. That's just wrong. It's mean. It's improper. And you're going to look really foolish in court. Stephen from Okeechobee. Hey, Stephen, how are you? Grant, you've mentioned in previous shows that you enjoyed law school. I did. However, I think most college kids would dread having to go to law school. Is it as difficult as people say? Yes, it is. It is absolutely as hard as people say. And in fact, you probably cannot imagine how hard it is. It's by far the hardest, most intensive schooling that I've ever done in my life. And everybody that's gone to law school would agree with me. I was typically in school by 8 o'clock in the morning, which means that I was up at 5 or 6 getting ready. And I was typically up to 1, 2 in the morning preparing. You are getting through a wealth of information. You are constantly reading. You are constantly studying. You have absolutely no social life. So if you're going to go to law school and you think that you're going to go out and party every weekend, it's not going to happen. I spent every weekend working. I was lucky and I think at that time I was engaged, so that would be my fiance, now my wife. I was lucky if I got one dinner a week with them. Usually on Sunday nights, we'd go out and have a nice dinner, but that would be about it as far as time. You have to be 100% committed to passing. If you're not, and if you're not going to treat it like a full-time job, save the money because it's not cheap. I think law school now is probably between $40,000 and $60,000 a year, not including books, accommodations, living requirements, just to go to school. Is it worth it? Yes. Did I love it? Yeah, I did. And I loved it because the information that I was getting was phenomenal. It's also really hard. They're calling on you. They're calling you out. You better know your stuff. This isn't something that you can just, lolly-da through. This really takes commitment. Don't go if you don't want to go. It is very hard. And actually, the first year of law school, I think I would say close to 60% of everybody that started law school failed out. By the third year, I think it was the top 15% actually passed. And remember, once you get through law school, all you have is your doctorate in law. You still can't practice law. You still have to take the bar. And the bar exam is just as tough as law school. You're taking 3 years of information you learned in law school and you're condensing it into a 2-day exam. It's overwhelming. It's really hard, but for me, it was absolutely worth it. And I enjoyed it. So Stephen from Okeechobee, Stephen, if you'd like to hear more about law school or you want to talk about what it's really like or you have any specific questions, give me a call. I'm happy to talk to you about it, 561-530-4568. So that's about it for me today, folks. This is Grant Gisondo, the Family Man. I'd like to thank you for joining me on another episode. Today we spoke about parental alienation. I got a surprise coming up for you next week. We're going to do a little bit of a fun show. If you'd like to talk to me about anything on the show, you'd like to email me some questions, grant@sunshinedivorce.com. Drop me an email. If you'd like to book a free in-person consultation for any family law case, give me a call, 561-530-4568. And here's something no attorney is going to do for you. Because I'm dedicated to my clients and this show, I'm going to give you my direct cell phone number. Are you ready? My direct cell phone number is 561-307-4005. Give me a call. Please don't shoot me a text message. Look forward to seeing everyone next week. Have a wonderful week. Be kind to one another. I'll speak to you soon.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Without the proper training, diffusing a highly volatile bomb is not something you want to try by yourself. When a marriage is about to explode, the same wisdom applies. Hire a professional or pay the consequence.
Headed for divorce? Diffuse the matter with the guidance of the law offices of Grant Gisondo. Online at sunshinedivorce.com. That's sunshinedivorce.com. Main office in Palm Beach Gardens.